office about violations of this contract?
We've had quite a few through the years. They generally tell the person, and it's usually a low rent or low income group that buys them, that you'll have this paid out in 30 years or 20 years, or usually 10 years, I think. And the trouble is, some people have been paying on it 15 years and have not received a deed and claim they've paid more than the interest and insurance, which they always add on, and the principal. The problem here comes in, it's usually paid in cash, and it's a question of them having receipts for it, and they usually don't have the receipts for all of it. The company claims they haven't made payment, and it's hard actually, it's a confused situation as far as determining whether they actually have paid it out or not.
Yeah.
There's another thing that many of the purchasers don't know really what, when they get it paid out, what they're supposed to do. They think they own it when they actually don't until they get a warranty deed from the seller of the property.
Is it complicated to get a warranty deed?
Well, it's not too complicated. The company understands how it's very simple to them, but the purchaser doesn't understand. All he has to do is tell the company that he wants a warranty deed for it, and if it's a legitimate company, they'll give it to him at the time it's paid out.
In this particular case, it's an individual who owns the property. Now, would that make it more difficult for an individual?
Well, it's rather simple, actually, to draw up a warranty deed. The only thing you got to do is put the seller in there and describe the property and the purchaser and say the date of it. I mean, the purchaser couldn't draw one, but I'm sure whoever represents the seller could if they have more than just one piece of property. There's a lot of things that on this appear to me to be unethical and, if not illegal, because for one thing, it says 8% interest on the one you've shown me there. It doesn't point out to whether it's simple 8% interest on the unpaid balance or whether it's 8% on the total amount multiplied by the number of years, which would get into quite a bit of interest. That isn't a high rate of interest if it's simple interest, but if it's what they call add-on interest or discount interest, it really runs nearly 16% interest.
Do you see any need for legislation to improve the law? For instance, on this contract, the person would not know when his final payment would be made.
Well, it appeared to me that the contract to sale should tell them exactly how many months it's going to take them till they finish paying for it, and exactly what date that they'll expect the deed, and put the responsibility on the seller to deliver the deed to them at the appropriate time. I really think these contracts, they probably ought to be abolished and really go to a deed of trust like all other land is sold, because you do have a contract to sale usually when any piece of property is sold, but it's contract to sale until the deeds are executed and the deed of trust to the mortgage company or whoever's loaning the money. That's what the law contemplates, and I suspect the legislature is liable to abolish this type of just contract to sell that may be 20 years from now before they sell.